I'm going to get right into it. We talked about this last night with, of course, Gary from Neurotic. Everybody was waiting on that like midnight hour and what was going to happen with this whole negotiation. And it looks like nothing happened, which means a strike is sort of imminent. And as covered here by Variety, concludes with no deals. Strike appears to be imminent as talks with studios have concluded without a deal or extension. The union's contract officially expired at midnight. In a statement, the union said that the negotiation committee had voted unanimously to recommend a strike. The union's national board is expected to meet Thursday morning to call a strike, which would immediately halt scripted film and TV production by the companies represented by the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. So they're going to stop all of that stuff. There's also going to be a complete halt of like promotional things. We have movies coming out. Those will come to a complete stop if those are represented by these firms, if you will, said unions, whatever you want to call them. It says they went to negotiate in good faith and they were eager to reach a deal and that sufficiently addressed performer needs. But the responses to the union's most important proposal have been insulting and disrespectful. So you have that going on. And so we also have the writer's strike. So Hollywood's going to be in a very interesting spot. The actual studios, as like Iger right here is saying, he finds it disturbing. So they say they're not being realistic. The other side is saying that the other side's not being realistic. So here it is. With CNBC's David Faber, he had said, Iger that is, it's very disturbing to me. We've talked about disruptive forces on the business and all the challenges we're facing. The recovery from COVID, which is ongoing, it's not completely back. This is the worst time in the world to add that disruption. I understand any labor organization's desire to work on behalf of its members to get the most compensation and be compensated fairly based on the value that they deliver. We managed as an industry to negotiate a very good deal with the Directors Guild that reflects the value that the directors contribute to the business. He said we wanted to do the same thing with the writers, and we'd like to also do the same with the actors. There's a level of expectation that they have that is just not realistic. This is what he says. And they are adding to the set of challenges that that this business is already facing. It's quite frankly very disruptive. All right, so this is never good, not for a negotiation, when both sides feels like their demands are unrealistic, okay? And, of course, you're going to have a tendency to side with the quote-unquote workers. That's the communistic bullcrap it is. It's to be anticipated. For me, I look at it like this is a relationship, and they probably both need each other, and both of them are pieces of trash. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and act like every individual that's part of these unions are not good people. I will say that the union itself is, I don't ever feel like those are needing to be a thing. And you guys have facilitated an industry, and I think right now it's caught up. So the studios, as far as what it is they're spending, these out of control budgets, not just for TV, but also with film. And now you have these sides that are thinking they're not even getting enough money, or they don't like the work conditions, or both. It's often compensation is what it is that we're dealing with. You have this whole AI thing that's been introduced to the fold, and it's a the studios sound like they're saying, look, man, we'll wait, at least with the writers, we'll wait until y'all are broke, and you lose your apartment, and then we'll have some conversations. So like I said, this is not one of those things where it's like you take the side of either of them. I mean, when you look at the direction and the trajectory of Hollywood, you look at how rotten unions are, they're both pieces of trash, collectively at minimum, if you want to look at them like that. And again, they need themselves. And I feel like look, the industry is going to get upended. It doesn't matter whether they want to catch up or not. And the reality is that so many people are going to be protective of the status quo, which is why both sides want a deal. It's in their best interest to try to make a deal and protect that status quo, because if it enters into an age where the status quo is upended, which is where we're going to go, it comes with its level of uncertainty, and a lot of people are going to be left out. That's just what it is. People that are actually good at the jobs, I think they'll be fine. Those guys have nothing to worry about, be it writers, actors, actresses. But it's going to look different. It's going to be more decentralized. So we talked about this last night with Gary from Neurotic. Go watch that stream. This is what this is going to look like. Studios are going to still be around. Writers will still be around. It just won't look like it has historically. And I'm not saying that this change, they won't come to a deal. I think they will. But I do believe as well, even just with the technological advancements, it's inevitable. The industry will be upended, and what we once knew of it won't be that. Some people will still have a spot there, but it won't be everybody. And I think it's going to be even more competitive than what it was before. And it's something that I personally welcome. You've heard me say a million times, even if I didn't have a spot on the other side of this, I'm still welcoming this because I think this is a necessary thing. It will benefit the creatives. It will benefit businessmen as well. It'll be more low to the ground, boots to the ground. And yeah, that means that a lot of folks are going to be out of a job as well. But it's not because they aren't talented. It's because there is a sense of entitlement that I think that writers and actors certainly do, especially writers, that they think just because they exist, they deserve to get X. And that's just not how the real world works. It's not how any other industry really works. I think these people are going to weed themselves out, and a lot of guys that aren't any good or there's no demand. I think that's what matters. If there's a demand for your service, and if there's not, you don't have a spot. And there's nobody's going to justify paying you. Money's getting tighter and tighter as it is, not just from the customers, but you're seeing what's happening with these studios. They're going under because they had spent a lot of money that they probably should not have spent on writers, directors, all that good stuff. With the streaming, they did it to themselves. This is why I'm like, it's less about having a dog in the fight and more about analyzing the reality. Both of you don't really benefit me. You don't really benefit the customers in y'all existence. I think that we need to move, and we will move to a more decentralized format with entertainment industries. And that's going to come with uncertainty. So the status quo, of course, they're going to protect it. We'll see what happens. It'll be interesting.
If you like this video and want to get into a new comic book universe, visit Rippaverse.com. Our first campaign for ISOM 1 hit $3.7 million, and the pre-order campaign for ISOM 2 is currently live. So go check it out and watch the official launch trailer, which is the first animation of Rippaverse Studios.